Hello, welcome back to some APBA baseball. I made a trade. I had an extra set of 1983 Stratomatic extra players, and so I was able to trade for a 1950 APBA set. So today is opening day, 1950, Brooklyn Dodgers versus Philadelphia. Obviously, 1950 was the first year that APBA was released, and so the set I got isn't the original, and it also isn't the 50th anniversary one they just did, or maybe 60th anniversary, but this one was somewhere in between. So the cards are in immaculate shape. They kind of got a different background. It's a little bit of a grayish green. But they're just the cards are in awesome shape. Again, the old school APBA look, which I kind of like for some sets. I think the majority of my sets, I want the stats and the teams and everything, but these do have a charm to them that I like. So I do have 1950 in PC, replay PC baseball. So as you can see, I'm able to keep track with the game with those. So just thought I'd play a game with the new set here, and it's a good matchup today. We got Robin Roberts, who is a B and a Z, versus Don Newcomb, who is a B and a Z. So 1950 baseball. Of course, the Phillies won the National League pennant this year. And of course, the Dodgers have amazing players on their team throughout the 50s. So anyway, I thought we'd give this a whirl and see what we can do. So this is in Shibe Park in Philadelphia. Leading off for the Dodgers will be Pee Wee Reese. I got to turn my book here to the right page. In real life, Philadelphia won this game 9-1. This particular set doesn't have every player. It's just got 25 per team, and so I'm doing as played as much as I can. So if there is a player who was a partial player that doesn't have a card, I just replace them with somebody who does. And so that'll be kind of interesting. I've never done a partial as played before. So, and again, I'm, don't know how far I'll get with this, but I thought this would be a fun game to kind of show off the new 50 set. So again, they just a really good quality. Matter of fact, that just about all the teams were still in alphabetical order. So, if anybody has any insight as to when these were printed, I'd be curious. Somebody had said that before 1984 was when they started putting the trademark date or the copyright date, and this one doesn't have that. So I don't know if that means this set was before 1981. But these are in really good shape, so I can't help but think that they may have been after that. So, but anyway, if anybody's got any insight, I'm always interested in that kind of information. So let's get started with the game without further ado. So again, Pee Wee Reese will lead it off here for the Dodgers. He gets a 63, which is a 31. The Phillies are a 2. The Dodgers are a 1 fielding column. So we got a 31 and a 2, and that's going to be a fly out to center field. Richie Ashburn will put it away for out number 1. George Shuba, playing left field, will hit next for the Dodgers. And again, Robin Roberts is a right-handed pitcher. Both pitchers are right-handed today. George Shuba, a left-hander, will step up next. And he gets a 44, and that's an 8 for a B, and that's going to be another fly out to center field. Richie Ashburn will put that away with no difficulty for out number 2. Duke Schneider, center fielder for the Dodgers, left-handed hitter. We'll see what he can do with Robin Roberts with 2 outs. He gets a 36, and that's a 14, and that's going to be a walk. So the Dodgers get their first base runner of the game. Snyder is a fast runner, so the Dodgers will play business as usual on the bases. That brings up Jackie Robinson. I ordered the 1947 Stratomatic set that they just created, or I pre-ordered it, I guess. So needless to say, a little excited about Jackie Robinson because 1947 obviously was the year he broke the color barrier. So this is 3 years later, and it kind of amazes me. You know, I'm doing the 1946 set, and obviously there are no African Americans, and so by 1950, just 3 years later, there's not as many as there should be, but there's still quite a few. So I thought that was kind of cool to notice 3 years later. So anyway, Jackie Robinson, runner on first base, 2 outs. Gets a 31, and that's a 9 for a B, and that's going to be a single and infield hit. So Jackie Robinson beats out a little number, and the Dodgers have runners on first and second. Infield hit for Jackie. And so that brings up Carl Ferrillo, who is in the 1946 set. So we got runners. I went and got me some tabs, so make it a little easier to move the thing. So first and second, Carl Ferrillo, he hit .305 with 18 home runs in 1950. He gets a 62, which is a 26. And that's going to be an infield fly. Mike Goliath will put it away to end the inning. So Robin Roberts able to thwart the Dodger threat. They get no runs, 1 hit, no errors. They leave 2 on. We go to the bottom of the first. No score. Richie Ashburn will lead things off here against Don Newcomb. Again, Don Newcomb is a right-handed pitcher. He, like Robin Roberts, is a B and a Z. That's a 44, which is a 7, and that's going to be a single to right. So he pulls one in between Jackie Robinson and Gil Hodges. Leads off with a hit. And that brings up Granny Hamner, so we could walk here. I think here early in the game we'll let him hit away. So Granny Hamner hit .270, 11 home runs. That's a 56, which is a 32. And again, the Dodgers are a 1 column. So that's going to be a fly out to right field. Carl Ferrillo will track it down for out number 1. As you all might notice, big fan of late 40s and 50s baseball. So Eddie Wakas will come up next, playing first base for the Phillies today. He gets a 13, and that's going to be a 14. And again, we're in the 1 column. Newcomb has a Z, so that's going to be 2 balls. That's a 23, which is a 26 in the 1 column. And that's going to be a 4-6 fielder's choice, not able to turn the double play. But Robinson will underhand it to Reese to get Ashburn at second for out number 2. Eddie Wakas is an average runner, so they'll be business as usual with him on first. Dal Enos, who had a good year, 311, 31 home runs. He had a pretty good career. I don't believe he's in the Hall of Fame, but he had some very good years as a Philly slugger. That's a 55. That's a 7 in the B column, and that's a single to right. The runner will make it to third. So Rob Enos slaps a fastball out to right field, and Carl Ferrillo will run it down, but not before Wakas can make it to third. So the Phillies are staging a threat of their own. So that brings up Willie Puddinhead Jones. Got runners on first and third, 2 out. So a big at bat here early in the game. And that's a 55, and that's going to be an 8. And with this chart, that's actually a single. So it's a single to right. One runner scores, the other to third. The slow is out at third. And Del Enos is slow. And I didn't say anything. So I would say with 2 outs, of course, you wouldn't want to make the third out at third. So I'm going to say that I think they would have played it safe. So again, I don't have any favorites in this game. So I think that would be fair. So that would be station to station. So that would be a single. And Enos will make it to second. What the heck? Let's see. Dot, he gets thrown out. That's not hitting the crease. Okay, so he didn't get thrown out. So, all right. So, Wakas scores the first run of the game. Del Enos will make it to second, and Puddinhead Jones singles in the first run. The Phillies go up 1-0. So that brings up Dick Sizzler with runners on first and second and 2 out. Sizzler hit .296, 13 home runs, playing first base today, or left field rather, for the Phillies. That's a 26, which is a 26 in the one column, and that's going to be popped up on the infield, and Jackie Robinson calls for it and puts it away to end the inning. So the Phillies draw blood first. They get 1 run on 3 base hits. There were no errors. They leave 2 on, and after 1 complete, Philadelphia 1, Brooklyn 0. So Gil Hodges will lead off for the Dodgers. They just got one hitter after another, and they got Roy Campanella batting last. So Hodges hit .283 with 32 home runs in 1950. He gets a 14, and that's going to be a fly out to left field. Dick Sizzler will squeeze it for out number 1. Bobby Morgan, playing third base for the Dodgers today, will hit next. Right-handed versus the right-handed Roberts, and that's a 44. That's going to be an 8, but with the bases empty and a B pitcher, that's a fly out to center field. So Richie Ashburn will get yet another put out. And quickly, the Dodgers have 2 outs in a row for Roy Campanella, again hitting 8th. And again, these were real-life lineups, so I'm pretty sure everybody had a card for this particular game. So they had Campanella batting last, but he hit .281 with 31 home runs and 437 at-bats. So he would have hit well over 40 if he had a full year. That's a 43, which is a 29. Again, the Phillies are a 2 column. And so that's going to be a ground ball back to first. So Robin Roberts plays it on 1 hop, and he will trot it over to Wakas to end the inning. So the Dodgers go in order in the second. We go to the home half of the second, still 1-0 Philadelphia. So Mike Goliath, second baseman extraordinaire, will hit first here in the bottom of the second. He gets a 46, which is a 13, and that's going to be a strikeout. Neither one of these pitchers have any strikeout modifiers. They just got the Control Z. So Andy Semenick hit .288, 24 home runs in the real life 50 campaign. That's a 35. That's a 36 in the 1 column. And that's going to be a ball. So ball 1. Uh-oh, that's out of here. So Semenick got all of that one. So let's see, that's a 1 with a B, and so that is gone. And just like that, 2-0 Phillies. His first homer of the year, of course, as this is opening day. So that brings up Robin Roberts, who throws right but bats left, oddly enough. He hit 118 in the real-life campaign. That's a 46, which is a 13, and he strikes out for out number 2. And the second strikeout of the game for Newcomb. Richie Ashburn, he singled and was erased on a fielder's choice the last inning. That's a 51, which is an 8. And in the B column, with the bases empty, that's another fly out to center field. So Ashburn retired by his opposite number, and that would do it for the Phillies in the second. But they played another run on the one hit. Nobody left. We go to the top of the third, 2-0, Philadelphia. Don Newcomb will start off here in the top of the third for the Dodgers. He hit 247 with a home run, so he can hit a little for a pitcher. That's a 65. And again, that's column 2, so that'll be a ground ball to first base. Eddie Wakas will wave off Roberts, take it to the bag himself for the first out of the inning. Pee Wee Reese, he flew out in his first at bat. That's a 23, which is a 26 in the 2 column. And that's a hit, ground ball down to Goliath. He ranges to his right, sets and throws, and that's out number 2. George Shuba, he flew out in his first at bat. And that's a 55, which is an 8. And once again, as a B on the empty chart, that's another fly out to center field. So Richie Ashburn earning his money out there in center field. Will catch it for the third out of the inning. And for the second inning in a row, the Dodgers rather, go in order. Got 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Phillies here in the third. Granny Hamner playing shortstop. We'll start things off versus Newcomb, righty versus righty. That's a 22, and that's a 7. That's a single to right field, so he goes the opposite way. Hit number 5 today for the Phillies. They've out-hit the Dodgers 5-1 so far. Hamner is an average runner, so they will do business as usual on the base paths. Eddie Wakas, he hit into a fielder's choice and scored on Willie Jones' single back in the first. That's a 52, which is a 27 in the 1 column. And that is going to be a 5-4-3 double play. So he goes the opposite way. Morgan, who was in for a possible bunt, has plenty of time to get it to Robinson. Over to Hodges for the inning, or the rally-killing double play. So that's 5-4-3. So Del Enos will come up next. 2 outs, nobody on. He singled in his first effort of the game. This is a day game here, Tuesday, April the 15th, 1950. That's a 45, and he is going to draw a walk. So the Z modifier doesn't help you with the bases empty. That's the first walk given up by Newcomb today. So Willie Jones, who has an RBI single, will come up next. Puddinhead, as his nickname is listed here. And he gets a 33, and that's going to be trouble. That's a 6 in the B column. That's a double over first. And again, Enos is a slow, so again, we're going to play it safe. So, however, with 2 outs, that's going to be any runner scores, and we do have 2 outs. So that's hit over the first baseman. Hodge is not able to field it, and it bounces in the corner, and Ferrillo gets it in, but not before Jones is in second with his second RBI. And the Phillies are up 3-0. First double of the year, of course, for Jones. And so that brings up Sizzler with Willie Jones on second base. And he popped out to second base to end the first inning. And he gets a 55, which is an 8. And with a runner on second, that is going to be bounced back to the pitcher. So Dick Sizzler hits it to Newcomb, and he fields his position well. Throws on to Hodges to end the inning. But for the third inning in a row, the Phillies have scored single runs. So they get 1 run on a couple hits. There were no errors. They left 1 on. So after 3, it is 3-0 Philadelphia. So at this point, it'll be a 9-0 Philadelphia victory if things continue as they have been so far. So top of the 4th, the Dodgers held to 1 hit so far by Robin Roberts. Duke Snider, lefty versus the righty Roberts. He walked in his first at bat. He gets a 32, which is a 12 in the 2 column, and that's a grounder down to Willie Jones at third. He will catch the worm burner and throw him out. So Jackie Robinson, who has an infield single, the only hit for the Dodgers today. He gets a 21. That's a 30, and that's going to be a fly out to left field. Sizzler will put it away, and Jackie Robinson is the second out of the inning. Carl Ferrillo, he popped out to end the first. He gets a 45, which is a 14. And again, the Z modifier doesn't help you with nobody on, so that will be a walk for Ferrillo. That's the second walk given up by Roberts, who normally has very good control. So that brings Gil Hodges to the plate. He could make this a 1-run game very easily. A lot of power in this Dodger lineup. And he gets a 46, which is a 30. And that's going to be an easy fly out to Sizzler to end the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 runner left. The Dodgers have left 3 on today. We go to the home half of the 4th. Philadelphia with a 3-run lead. So Mike Goliath got 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Phillies. He struck out in his first at bat. And that's going to be a second column roll as Newcomb's trying to keep the Phillies from scoring this inning. That's a 52, which is a 7, and that's a single to right field. So first man on for Philadelphia. And that brings up Andy Seminick, who has already gone yard today. Runner on first base. That's a 24, which is a 13. And again, the Dodgers are on a 1 column, and that's a strikeout. So strikeout number 3 for Newcomb today. Brings up Robin Roberts, who was a strikeout victim himself, his first at bat. He gets a 51, and that's going to be a 14, which was would be a walk, but again, Newcomb has the Z, so that's going to be 2 balls to Robin Roberts. And he gets a 22, which is a 9. And that's going to be an infield single. So how about that? Robin Roberts able to beat 1 out. We'll put runners on first and second with 1 out. So that's not what Newcomb wanted to do, is to let Roberts reach. So that'll bring up Richie Ashburn, who is singled and flied out. Got runners on first and second, 1 out. Richie Ashburn versus Don Newcomb. And that's a 15. And that's going to be an 8. And that saved him being a B pitcher. So that's out at first. Runners advance. So that's a slow nubber down to Morgan. And all Morgan can do is throw out the speedy Ashburn. but that will move Goliath to third and Roberts to second with 2 outs. So it's up to Granny Hamner here. 2 out, runners on second and third. And that's a 15. That's an 8 with runners on second and third. And that's a B. That's a fly out to center field. So Snyder will put it away to end the threat as Hamner leaves 2 runners in scoring position. After 4 complete, 3-0. So for the first inning, the Phillies didn't score, even though they threatened. We go to the top of the 5th, 3-0 Philadelphia. So the Dodgers trying to figure out Robin Roberts, rather. So they've got 7, 8, and 9 due up here in the top of the 5th. Bobby Morgan has flied out in his first at bat. That's a 36. That's a 33 in the 2 column. That's popped up on the infield. Mike Goliath will wave everyone off and put it away, but close to second base for out number 1. Roy Campanella. Again, an incredible 8th hitter. Not your normal one. And he gets a 16, and that's a 28 in the 2 column. And that's going to be a ground ball to shortstop. Granny Hamner will range toward second base, and from behind second base, throw him out. For out number 2. So Don Newcomb. 2 out, nobody on. He gets a 61, which is a 24 in the 2 column. And that's going to be hit down to shortstop as well. Newcomb a little late on a fastball. And Granny Hamner will throw him out without any difficulty to end the inning. So for the 3rd inning today, the Dodgers have gone in order at the hands of Robin Roberts. And we go to the bottom half of the 5th, 3-0 Philadelphia. 3, 4, and 5 due up for Philadelphia here in the 5th. Eddie Wakas is hitting the fielder's choice in a double play. He gets a 51, which is an 8, with the bases empty and a B pitcher. That's going to be a fly out to center field. So Snyder will range in and take that shallow fly for the first out of the inning. Del Enos has singled and walked and scored a run. He gets a 64, and that's a 14, and that is going to be a walk. That's the second walk he has given up today. The second one for Del Enos. He scored the last time he walked. So Willie Jones, who has 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. We'll see what he can do with Enos on first. And he's a slow runner, so they're going to, actually they're ahead 3-0. A little late in the game, they're going to do running as normal. So Willie Jones gets a 21, and that's a 30. That'll be a fly out to left field. Shuba will squeeze it for out number 2. So Newcomb able to retire Willie Jones for the first time today. We'll focus his attention on Dick Sisler, who is 0 for 2. That's a 62. That's a 32. And that's a fly out to right field. And Ferrillo will head to right center, and he will call off Snyder and put it away to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left after 5 complete here in Philadelphia. 3-0 Phillies. Top of the order for the Dodgers here in the 6th. Again, their lone hit is an infield single by Jackie Robinson. Pee Wee Reese will start things off. He's 0 for 2. He gets a 42, which is a 14, and he's going to draw a walk. The third walk given up by Robin Roberts today. So George Shuba, who is flied out to center field twice, will take his third hack at Robin Roberts with a runner on first, nobody out. That's a 55. That's an 8. Robin Roberts is a B, so that's a slow grounder to third. Willie Jones will only have first base as an option, as Pee Wee Reese moves into scoring position. One away. Duke Snyder has walked and grounded out. Got a runner on second base, one away. That's trouble. That's 33. That's a 5 on the B. And that is out of here. So how about that? 33 is a 5. So Duke Snyder has drawn the game down to a 1-run deficit. First home run of the year, of course, for Duke Snyder. So he starts opening day off with a bang. All right, so one out. Nobody on for Jackie Robinson, who has had an infield single and flew out to left. That's a 63, which is a 31. So that should be a fly out to center field, and it is. Richie Ashburn will put it away for out number 2. Carl Ferrillo is walked and popped out. He gets a 34, and that's a 31, which is hit out to center field as well. This one's a little deeper, but Ashburn, with plenty of room out there, will put it away to end the inning. So the Dodgers strike back as they get 2 runs on Duke Snyder's 2-run home run. They had just the one hit, so that walk to Pee Wee Reese came back to haunt Roberts. And so after 5.5, it is now 3-2 Philadelphia. So Mike Goliath will start off here in the home half of the 6th. He's 1 for 2. He gets a 36, which is a 33 in the one column. And that is going to be popped up on the infield. Jackie Robinson will squeeze it for out number 1. Randy Simonek, he had a solo home run back in the 2nd. He gets a 14, which is a 30, which is a fly out to left field. George Shuba will race over to the line and put it away for out number 2. Robin Roberts is singled and struck out. He gets a 54. It's a 32, and that's going to be a fly out to right field. So Robertson pulls a changeup, but Ferrillo is right there. And that will do it for the Phillies. So Don Newcomb is calmed down, as he has not allowed the Phillies to score in the last 3 innings after letting them score once in the first 3 innings. So we are 6 complete here in Shibe Park. Philadelphia up by 1. So Gil Hodges will lead off. He's flied out to left field twice. He gets a 12, which is a 25. And that's going to be a ground ball to Goliath at second base. Ranging to his right, he throws across his body to Wakas, out number 1. Bobby Morgan is 0 for 2. 14 is a 30, and that's a fly out to left field. Hit really high, so Sisler has plenty of time to get under it, and that's out number 2. Roy Campanella is 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. You most want to intentionally walk him to get to the pitcher, but they won't do that. They should have. It's gone. So that's out of here as Roy Campanella has tied the game. So maybe we should have went with our instincts. So we have a 3-3 game. So Don Newcomb will step up. 2 out, nobody on. 61 is a 24. And that's going to be grounded to Hamner, who will throw him out to end the inning. But the Dodgers have clawed back thanks to the long ball. And we are now tied at 3 going into the 7th inning stretch. So top of the order for the Phillies, we've got Richie Ashburn, who is 1 for 3. We'll start off here versus Don Newcomb. That's a 53. That's a 16 in a 1 column. And that's going to be a fly out to center field. So that would have been a lot different if they were not a 1 fielder. So the good fielding, matter of fact, the Dodgers are a 44, and I have never had anybody higher than a 41. So that 44 was really high. So, but anyway, so 53, just want to double check that. 16, that's fly out to center field. So one away. So the defense helping Newcomb out there. Granny Hamner is 1 for 3. He gets a 23. It's a 26. And that's grounded down to his opposite number, Jackie Robinson, for the 2nd out of the inning. Eddie Wakas is 0 for 3. He has scored a run. And he gets a 44, which is a 7, and that's going to be a single to right. So he pulls it over Robinson's head. Ferrillo plays it on a couple bounces. Fires it back into Reese. Wakas trots back to first. So Delinas, he has singled and walked twice. He is definitely a threat as he hit 31 home runs this year. So we got a runner on first. Righty versus righty here. That's a 16, which is a 28. And that's going to be a fielder's choice. So Reese will field it up the middle, and he'll underhand it to Robinson to end the inning. Top of the 8th. We are still tied at 3. Top of the order for the Dodgers. Pee Wee Reese is walked and scored in 3 at-bats. Robin Roberts looking into the sign from Semenuk. That's a 41, which is a 24. And that's going to be a ground ball to Hamner. He will throw him out for out number 1. George Shuba is 0 for 3. That's a 61, which is a 32. And that's a fly out to right field. Delinas will trace back to the warning track and put it away for the 2nd out of the inning. Duke Schneider hit the 2-run bomb back in the 6th and walked. That's a 46. That's a 32. And that's going to be another fly out to right field. Hit it on a rope, but right at Delinas, and that will do it for the Dodgers here in the 8th. Home after the 8th coming up. 3-3. We got a good one going here today. So Willie Jones will start off. He has got a couple hits, couple RBIs. That's a 51, which is a 9, and that's going to be a single over shortstop. So he pulls it over Reese's head. Shuba will race into the left center field gap and fire it back in for Jones can get any further than first base. He is an average runner, so the Phillies will do business as usual. So you got Dick Sizzler, 0 for 3. They're going to hang with Newcomb here. That's a 35. That's a 9. So that's going to be an infield single. So Sizzler able to hit a little number down the first base line, and Newcomb will fire it to Hodges, but not before Sizzler beats it out. So the first two on here. So the Dodger bullpen is warming up. Got Mike Goliath. So they're going to try to bunt here. Sacrifice bunt with runners on first and second. That's a 54, which is a 32. Out at first. So he hits a number down to Morgan, who will fire on to Robinson. So the 54, just make sure, 32. Yep, so that's a successful sac bunt. Let's see. I think we need to detail that one. Maybe not. Sac bunt. Sacrifice hit. Okay. So that will advance the runners. To second and third for Andy Simonik. So they're going to bring the infield in, of course. Do we bring in a relief pitcher? He's given up 3 runs. It's usually the decide or die. So just bring in a relief pitcher. Yes. All right. So they're going to bring in. Let's see. So they got Simonik up. They could walk him, which they probably are going to do. Let's see. Looks like Carl Erskine, perhaps. He's a D with a Z. Let's see, what about Clem Lambine? He's not an option. Yeah, I'm just going to go against the decider here. So they're going to walk Simonik. To load the bases. And that brings up Robin Roberts. So let's see who the Phillies have on the bench. They don't have a lot. You got Whitman. I assume they have Whitman. Yeah, they got Whitman. They're going to go with Whitman here. Because Robin Roberts only hit 118. So they're going to go with Whitman. So that's it for Robin Roberts today. Dick Whitman will pinch hit. He hit 250 with no home runs in the real life campaign. See, Whitman is a lefty. All right, so they're going to do the infield in. They're going to go ahead and stick with Newcomb. Again, if he doesn't do it here, they'll replace him. So he's one of their better pitchers. So they're going to go with him, and here we go. That's a 43, which is a 29 in the one column. Actually, the bases are loaded. Get to the right chart. So a 43 is a 29. The batter's safe at first. Runner forced at home. Everybody goes one base. So it was bounced back to the pitcher. So they're not able to get the double play. But Newcomb is able to throw to Campanella to cut off Jones at the plate. So, and that was even with the infield in or not. So that worked out well. So Whitman just bounces back to Newcomb. So he's out at home. 1 to 3. Let's see. So that's going to be a fielder's choice. He is safe. Everybody else is, and that's 1 to 2. Okay. So Newcomb, so far, is making it look like he was worth keeping in. So you got the bases loaded for Richie Ashburn. 2 out, so a big hit at bat here. Ashburn's 1 for 4. Uh-oh, that's trouble. That's a double column. That's a 65. That's a 7. He's a B. Bases loaded. That's a single over second. 2 runners score. The other to second. A fast runner goes to third, and Whitman is not a fast, so he will just make it to second. So 2-run single for Richie Ashburn. So how about that? Okay, I'm going to have to do a detail here. So it's single. He scores. Makes it to second. And that doesn't have a 2 out. So, and like I said, Whitman is not fast. So, okay. So, big hit there as Sisler scores. And I need the right color. Simonik scores. Whitman will make it to second. And a big 2-run single for the Hall of Famer, Richie Ashburn. A lot of Hall of Famers in this game. So that's Granny Hamner. So they're going to go ahead and bring in Barney. Rex Barney will take over the duties. He is a righty. He is a D with a Y and a W. So he's not that great, but he is pitching nonetheless. All right, so Granny Hamner got runners on first and second. I got to fix him here in the thing. There's Barney. All right, so Barney against Granny Hamner here, trying to see if he can keep the deficit to 2. And that's a 31. That's not good. 9 on a D. Single over first. Everybody advances 2 bases with 2 outs. So Whitman will score. Ashburn will make it to third. Granny Hamner has driven in another run. So Phillies opening it up here. So we got runners on first and third. 2 out. Eddie Wakas. Oh, no. He gets a double column, so it's just getting worse for the Dodgers here. He gets a 61. That's a 6 in the D column. That's a double to center that clears the bases. So Ashburn scores. Granny Hamner scores. And Eddie Wakas doubles in 2. So it is now 8-3 Philadelphia. So Delinas, Barney in trouble here. See if he can get this final out. That's a 45. And he proceeds to walk. So the Phillies have batted through the lineup now. Willie Jones started the inning with a single. So we got runners on first and second. 2 out. And that's gone. So how about that? Willie Jones hits a 3-run bomb. And the Phillies have just completely opened it up. That's 5 RBIs today for Willie Jones. His first home run. So they're going to go ahead and leave Barney in here. Let him eat these innings. Looks like he hasn't got an out yet, so he don't have an ERA yet, but he will once he gets that first out. So Dick Sisler, he singled and scored this inning. He gets a 34, and that's a 31, so that'll be a fly out to center field. And finally, the Dodgers are out of their misery. So that's 1. So they scored 8 runs that inning on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. No errors, and they leave nobody on. So we are now 11-3 Philadelphia, as the Dodgers will get one more at bat. So we'll see who need to bring in a pitcher. Constantine, I think he won the National League MVP this year, but we won't need him this game. So actual game relief. Well, he did most of the relieving, though. Let's see. We'll bring in. Actually, they can afford to use somebody here if they got Heinzolman. Yep, they do. They'll go ahead and give him a chance. See if he can burn some innings here. So, we got Ken Heinzolman, left-handed pitcher. He is a D, but at least he doesn't have the W modifier. So Jackie Robinson will start off. Jackie's 1 for 3 today with an infield single. He gets a 36. That's a 33 in the 2 column. And that's going to be popped up on the infield, and Goliath will catch it. Out number 1. Carl Ferrillo is 0 for 2 with a walk. He gets a 62, which is a 26. And that's a ground ball to second base. And Goliath will get his second defensive effort of the inning for out number 2. Gil Hodges is 0 for 3. He gets a 35. That's a 37 in the 2 column. That's going to be a strike. Again, as Heinzolman doesn't have the W. That's a 45, and that's going to be a walk. Bobby Morgan is 0 for 3. So you got Hodges on first. He gets a 13, which is a 14. And that's going to be another walk. So Heinzolman running into a little trouble here. We'll face Roy Campanella, who's already hit 1 home run today. So you got runners on first and second. That's a 52, which is a 27. And that's going to be hit down to third base. Willie Jones will fire on to Goliath, and that will do it for the Dodgers. Well, it was a good game up to the end there. Number 3, fielder's choice for. So let me see if I can get. It'll let me. Hold on a second here. Yeah, I was trying to see if it would let me. Yeah, it's not going to let me. So anyway, I can give you the report here. So Robin Roberts gets the win. He goes to 1-0. Don Newcomb took the loss. Willie Jones is the MVP as he had 5 RBIs, 4 hits. So he had a very good day today. 15 hits. The Dodgers only managed 3 hits. They got 3 runs because 2 of those hits were home runs. Again, Robin Roberts took the win as he went 3 earned runs in 8 innings. Newcomb got shelled pretty good, as did Barney. So, again, it was a close game up till the end. So, anyway, so just really, really pleased with the quality of these cards. I mean, that 84 set I got was very good, and these are just even better. I don't think they're as old. Again, they don't look as old. If they are, I mean, they're just immaculate. So I don't know when these were printed. I'm guessing with them not having the stats on them or the team, that I assume that means that they're a little older because as I understand it, that they, don't do them like this any longer, and they haven't for a while. So still learning about APBA and their history and, their printing, but these cards are just really cool. And again, I don't have any that have that coloring on the background, that grayish. I think it's gray. It's a little green, but gray. But yeah, this set is just really, really nice. So, and I believe like I said, I had 2 sets of the 83 extra players from Stratomatic, the original 83 set. So I didn't need 2 sets. So hopefully it worked out well for the guy who traded with me. So anyway, there you have it. Philadelphia wins on opening day, 1950, and enjoyed it very much as usual. And you have a good one, and I'll see you next time.